Hello, everybody, and welcome to this recap of Disney Plus Day. There was a lot of, there was some stuff announced, let's be honest. I feel like everybody, the internet collectively kind of cleared their internet day, and it was more kind of like a brunch with Disney Plus, with mainly just reading some tweets and stuff. Lots of logos. We did get some news, some new shows announced, a few Disney things, a lot of Marvel stuff. Sorry, Star Wars fans. Thanks for playing. Maybe come again next time, because sadly the long-awaited and hoped-for trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi, or really anything new, failed to materialize. There was the sizzle reel that I think had already been part of the marketing approach a year ago, but nothing really new on Obi-Wan Kenobi, or really anything Star Wars today. It was mostly focused on Disney, a little bit of Pixar, a fair amount of Marvel. So let's break down what was announced, what I was excited about. Just to start with, and I'll give you one guess what I was the most excited about, pretty easily, and it was something that was a big surprise. This wasn't more of a reveal on something that we already knew about. A revival of the 90s X-Men animated series called X-Men 97 was part of the new rollout of shows that Disney Plus announced today. They had a fun sort of making fun of the Twitter meme about X-Men. We got a logo, or at least a temporary logo for it. I am obviously a huge fan of the 90s X-Men series. Eric and Julia Lewald, who were part of the really heart of the creative team that helped launch the series, were guests of Screen Junkies. We've stayed in touch over the years. They're wonderful people. They wrote 2 books, and this is just, you should just read these because they're awesome. The first one is Previously on X-Men, which is an oral history of the making of X-Men, and then a book that came out last year, The Art and Making of the X-Men Animated Series. That is a fantastic book. It's got the complete breakdown, character designs, etc. You can buy those books. I highly recommend them if you have people that are excited about X-Men, and we're coming up on the holiday season. These are both great reads. This, I never in 1,000 years even thought that this would be a thing. Obviously, Marvel now has the rights to X-Men back. I figured we wouldn't see anything new for some time, because they were going to be waiting to put them in the MCU. But a revival of the X-Men animated series, I mean, this got me into comics, etc., in such a new way when I was growing up, and it was one of my first big comic book obsessions. The Lewalds have confirmed, they put out a statement through their website and their Twitter account, that they will be part of the team consulting with the creative team behind this new show. So it looks like we're going to have a union of some new minds and some old minds. I hope they're able to get some of the voices back, the ones that they're able to get back, Cal Dodd as Wolverine, etc. This is very, very exciting, because there's such an aesthetic to that show, and for so many people, that including me, it's their favorite version of the X-Men mythology. As with so many things that are announced, we're not going to be able to see this until 2023, so we're quite some time away. But this revival of the 90s animated series, the biggest takeaway for me from all of this stuff that came out today, this was very Marvel heavy. There was a lot of Marvel stuff, and I think it's because they haven't had one of these summits in a while. They haven't had a Hall H panel at Comic-Con. We haven't had one of these Kevin Feige special events where he goes out like Steve Jobs and has a big screen behind him. So we get these announcements on things like Disney Investor Day and Disney Plus Day. I know some people were thinking this would be a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer day, but this was all about the Disney Plus shows and the Disney Plus series. So let's get into what we learned a little bit more about today. First of all, we just got some logos for a lot of shows and a couple of announcements there. A big one, another one that I think was surprising for some people, a spinoff of WandaVision, Agatha House of Harkness, so Catherine Hahn getting her own spinoff. Armor Wars, we pretty much already knew about and knew that this show would be coming. This was just part of the list of things that were on their way. Echo, which is another spinoff, but a character that we haven't even met yet. This is a spinoff of a character that we are going to meet in Hawkeye. Already, though, an Echo show announced. I Am Groot, starring Baby Groot. Ironheart with Riri Williams. We knew that this was coming, but we get the logo, etc. here. Loki Season 2, we knew that that was coming. We also get Secret Invasion, which we knew was on the way, and there was also, as part of this teaser package, a pretty badass new picture of Nick Fury. I like the new look. I like he's without the eye patch. He's got the beard. I don't know. Maybe it's just because Samuel L. Jackson is a badass no matter what he's doing. There's another another animated series, Spider-Man Freshman Year, What If Season 2, which we already knew was coming, Marvel Zombies, which was an episode of What If, will be getting its own presumably animated series. We also got an extended look at some of these Marvel series. The first one was several minutes of Hawkeye, and this is a show that premieres in just a couple weeks. I enjoyed what we saw here, particularly the action scene that we got to see in the car. It had the very Children of Men vibe with the rotating camera. We get a lot more of Kate Bishop and kind of what her vibe is going to be, this kind of mentor vibe. We also get to see the name of the Captain America musical. Maybe this was revealed in the other trailer, I don't remember, but Rogers the musical. I want a supplement of Hawkeye, the show, to just be whatever full staging they have. Do it Hamilton style. Just give me the raw footage of the staging of Rogers the musical, because I must see that. We also got our first look at Oscar Isaac in Moon Knight. This is a series that a lot of people are anticipating very heavily. This is a character that I think is, again, part of maybe the deeper cut of the Marvel universe, but that so many people enjoy, and that now is going to step up and take the spotlight. Not a whole lot to see. You know, there were some kind of blurry shots of Moon Knight. We saw him jumping around from a distance, and we see from the back, we get a shot of a hand. Again, this is a series that's still very much still in production, so they don't have a lot to give us because they're still actively working on the show. But I think for fans of the show, just to see what this is going to look like, to see Oscar Isaac in action, I think that was exciting for a lot of people. We got a bit of a look at Ms. Marvel, which was recently pushed back just a bit from its original premiere date. We see Kamala Khan in action for the first time, her sort of hero worship of Captain Marvel, her own Captain Marvel suit, a little bit of a glimpse of her getting her powers, testing her powers. Again, very much an origin story. And then finally, we got a couple of little glimpses of She-Hulk. We got the logo, which we got for every one of these shows, a glimpse of Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters. We get a little tease of She-Hulk, an arm here, a foot there. But we also get our first look at Mark Ruffalo in this series, looking like he's teaching Jennifer Walters how to harness her Hulk powers. There's also a really cool nod to the Incredible Hulk television series, and again, that there's a lot of meta-ness to this series. So we had this shot of Ruffalo and Tatiana Maslany in the same poses and somewhat the same wardrobe as the Don't Make Me Angry scene from the opening credits in the pilot episode of the Incredible Hulk TV series. So also a great nod to Bill Bixby there, who really was crucial, along with Lou Ferrigno, in bringing the Incredible Hulk into the public consciousness beyond just the comic books. So it looks like this is going to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit self-aware, but again, not a whole lot to go on because we're still a little bit out from the premiere date of this show. I think going into the day, there was a lot of hope from people that this would be more of a trailer-heavy day, but this seemed more like a promotion-heavy day for Disney Plus. They were more focused on getting stuff put onto the streaming service. There's a Boba Fett documentary that you can watch now. They put, of course, Shang-Chi and Jungle Cruise on the streaming service, and the Home Alone movie that they made for Disney Plus. This was really more about brand awareness and driving awareness than these big reveals. How they're going to schedule this and have enough people to work on these things, I mean, they just keep adding and adding and adding. I mean, we will never be a week without stuff from the Marvel Universe, either in theaters or on Disney Plus. For some people, that would be a good thing. For some people, that would be a bad thing. Personally, I think that if the stuff is good, then it's great having Marvel stuff on all the time, as long as the quality's up. Now, if people get stretched too thin and it kind of becomes too much of a good thing, then we might have a problem. But they're obviously going even deeper into the Marvel Universe on Disney Plus. They want to drive those subscribers. You know, there was a big story. Disney share prices dropped this week, actually, because Disney Plus growth had not stalled out completely, but really slowed down. And there was a lot of talk like, well, just wait, because we're really going to get into quarter 3 and quarter 4 and have some big growth there. So Disney's looking to make a big splash on Disney Plus with all of this stuff, putting even more money into more shows and movies, etc. There was stuff that was announced and talked about other than the stuff for the Marvel Universe. We had a Pixar special. There were two kind of video specials. One was for Marvel. Half of it was really just kind of a best of the Marvel Disney Plus shows shows that we've already seen, and then some of the reveals and clips from the upcoming shows. There was also a Pixar short that was just a few minutes that was sort of walking around the Pixar campus. Again, not a whole lot of reveals there. It was all shows and movies that we pretty much knew were coming. I think the biggest thing was that the Cars franchise, although it's not coming back to theaters, will be coming back to Disney Plus because there's going to be a show. Cars on the Road. Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy are returning. So if you like Cars, and I'm guessing, a lot of folks do, I guess probably if you have kids especially, this is good news. Cars has never been my personal favorite Pixar franchise, but it's always also been a little bit younger skewing. They don't make everything for, 30 plus dudes like me. They also, believe it or not, make things for kids at Disney. So that's something for the kids and for the fans of the Cars franchise. And then there were a few Disney projects that were announced. I'm not going to hit on everything, but Disenchanted, we knew that this was coming. There was a little bit of a teaser from Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey. We got the first official still from Hocus Pocus 2. That's a project that we knew about. I know that Hocus Pocus amongst my generation is a much beloved film. I didn't catch up with Hocus Pocus until much later. By that time, a lot of the magic had been lost, but I know a lot of people very excited about that movie. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. We've got Andy Samberg and John Mulaney voicing those two. Again, not really anything to show. It's going to be a streaming movie coming up in the spring, so just a little tiny kind of a tiny script gag there. The Spiderwick Chronicles is getting a Disney Plus series treatment, so that will be coming in the near future. We've got Tiana, which is a continuation of The Princess and the Frog. We have this picture of her. She's leaving New Orleans, but obviously the magic is following her. I'm very glad that we know that The Princess and the Frog is set in the 1920s, because otherwise I would be very worried that Tiana is on the Titanic in this shot, and that they were going to take a very drastic new direction with the series. But it looks like we are going to avoid that sort of maritime tragedy with the Tiana animated series. I also love the 2D look of this. There were a lot of live action series that we talked about. The second season of The World According to Jeff Goldblum is streaming today as part of Disney Plus Day. Will Smith was hosting a series, and I think this is a brilliant name, Welcome to Earth, which is again about sort of going around the globe, etc. Chris Hemsworth is doing a series called Limitless, where it appears that the goal is to kill himself, which is a very interesting premise for a series. I think it's just to establish that Chris Hemsworth is an actual god and is not, in fact, immortal. He's a god walking amongst us. Zootopia Plus on Disney Plus, it's easy to remember, will be a short form series that's airing on Disney Plus, kind of expanding on the different worlds and people that we met in Zootopia. So this is really about, launching of some new brands, some new names, but really the strategy on Disney Plus is about capitalizing on the things that people know, hits from the past, new versions, new episodes, remakes, etc. And then a lot of, the reality stuff with established personalities like Will Smith, like Chris Hemsworth, like Jeff Goldblum, people that are friendly to the Disney brand, but also may help bring people in. And I mean, those were the biggest headlines for me, unless, you really want to get into the ins and outs of Sneakerella, which is the Disney remake of Cinderella, only about the world of sneakers. Perhaps that'll be a separate video if people want to go into that. And I understand that a lot of people were somewhat disappointed by today because there weren't these huge reveals, but at the same time, I think that it's very obvious that Disney is trying to really get the message out that they have a lot to offer across all different types of franchises and types of programming and aimed at different people. They don't want to hijack it with too much of one thing. I mean, they were very Marvel heavy, but again, I think if you go with the big one or two reveals on Marvel, then you're just talking about Marvel and maybe not talking about Disney Plus in general. As we go forward, I think that's probably what we should understand in the future, is that these Disney Plus days are really more about a holistic look at the programming. And then the things like Comic-Con and the Disney Investor Days, where the goal is to get people excited about specific big projects. That's when we should expect these big announcements. I thought it was even curious that they released the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett just a couple weeks ago and didn't save it for today, but it was obvious they wanted it to be a very wide spanning day. So, I actually have most of my day left, which I blocked off this whole day because I thought it was just going to be sort of like DC Fandom where, we're here for hours and hours and have a lot of things to process, but really, we can wrap it up a little bit easier than I had anticipated. So thanks for watching my breakdown of what we did get here on Disney Plus Day. I mean, really, if they'd only announced the X-Men thing, happening, I would be super excited because I just love that show so much, and to potentially get a follow-up, for me to be watching a cartoon that I watched when I was like 10 or 11, for me to be, by the time this will air, 40. To be able to be watching new episodes of that and to really put to the test what I've been saying about the X-Men animated series, which is that it's as good for adults as it was for kids because it was able to speak on a lot of different levels, then that's a really, really exciting prospect. Other than that, really just kind of underscoring what we already knew. But again, the Marvel Zombies thing I'm excited about. The Moon Knight footage I think looked really, really good. There's a lot to look forward to and also be excited about. But I think it's more about just waiting for those to drop closer to when they debut, to get a really good lock on what these different projects are going to be. What were you most excited about on Disney Plus Day, or did you not really care? Were you not tuned into the Twitter thread that was being tracked across the world? Let me know down in the comments below, and I want to thank you because as I am taping this, we are not yet past 100,000 subscribers, but by the time this is uploaded, we may very well be. Stay tuned because on Charts, which actually may be on Sunday this week, I have to travel to a screening on Monday, I will address the $100,000 subscriber barrier. I've got the plaque. We'll do an unboxing. We'll do everything else. But in advance of this happening, which is likely going to happen today, thank you so much for your support so far. Here's to the first 100,000, and thanks to the next 100,000, whoever you may be. If you like what you see, please like, share, subscribe. Do all the YouTube things to help the channel grow. I really appreciate what everybody has done so far. Also, don't forget down in the bottom, in the description, you can find information to subscribe to the audio version of this channel. So everything I do here, reviews, news, charts, etc., you can get an audio version of if you prefer to listen to what you like to listen to in a podcast form. There are also some audio exclusives that'll be on there from time to time. And you can check me out on Patreon at patreon.com/Dan Murrell if you want to do even more of what we're doing here, including watch-alongs, Schmodown commentaries, lots of really fun stuff. I'd love to have you come and join that community as well. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.